Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters, this is card number 2 and we're making 3 cards using the Papercraft Society box number 35. It's designed by John Lockwood or John Next Door. So I've card number 1 already made. If you have a look down the description you'll see a link to that. And now we're going to move on to our second card. For card number 2 we're going to make a shaker card, and you can see I have everything here ready to go. So the first thing I have here is a 6x6 card base. To make one yourself, you'll need a piece of 12x6 and scored at 6, and I have yet to do that. Then I have a piece of 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 white cardstock. That's just for me to have somewhere to write my message. I didn't want to write it on the card base. I'm going to embellish this using the stencils that is here, and then we have this piece. This is our shaker piece, and John has a tutorial here inside the book. Let me just show you. This is John's one. He has, it's a different size card to the one I'm going to make. He's also used some ink, alcohol inks to make the images at the back. So mine will be a little bit different, but it is definitely inspired by John's card. So I've taken a piece of cardstock. This is brown cardstock from my stash, and I have taken my panels, and you can see it here. I've taken this panel and I have die cut it out 3 times. In order to die cut it out and get it evenly, what I have done is I've taken my panel and I've taken my cardstock. What I did was I measured up halfway on both sides and I drew a line very faintly across. Then I took my panel here, and you might be able to see I have drawn a pencil line right in the middle on both ends. There's a little bit of washi tape just left. There we go. So I have a little pencil line either end, and what I've done then is I have lined it up with my faint pencil line, and once I was happy with that, I put it through my die cutting machine. Then I took my panel and I moved it up a bit, allowing my border between here and the top to be the same. And then I did the same at the bottom. Now, when it was going through on this bottom one, I didn't use the washi tape. And yeah, it moved a little bit, so you can see my border is a little bit off down the bottom. But you know what? This is a handmade card. It's, you know, it's taken time and effort for me to craft this card for the recipient it's going to go to. So I never apologize if things aren't straight, or if things are, you know, a little, if there's a little speck of ink somewhere or something like that. I don't apologize for it. It's handmade card. I put time, effort and love into making the card. If you don't appreciate it, well then it'll be your last card. That's how I feel about it. There's a little saying out there, and this is handmade, not Hallmark. So I totally agree. It's a one-off. It's a piece of art, guys. Our cards are artworks. You know, an artist will go and they'll paint a picture or a painting regardless of whether it's just a blue square on a black background. That's art. So our cards are art too, and they're worth every penny and all the love that we put into them. So sorry, rant over, moving on. So once I had those die cut out, I then put a piece of acetate on the back. Now my acetate is a little bit smaller than my panel itself. It's 5.5 by 5.5. And once I had that stuck down, I then put foam tape all around it. And I've put foam tape between the panels as well, so my sequins will sit up. They won't all drop to the bottom. Next, I have taken my embossing buddy, and I don't know if you have one of these. We use it when we're doing embossing with our powders, heat embossing. Well, I take that and I rub it all around my foam tape, the edges of the foam tape here. And that way when I add my sequins, it won't all stick to it. There will be a little bit of you know, your dust from your embossing buddy on your panel, but you can take a cloth and wipe that off. But I find the sequins generally, you know, takes it off, and you don't see it. So that is my shaker panel that's going to go on here. Now, what I generally like to do is I like to put my shaker bits into my panel and then put a piece of cardstock on top. I am going to cut out another piece of this cream cardstock. It'll just be smaller than our actual die cut panel, but it'll be big enough that it'll stick onto my foam tape. I've just misplaced it. If you could see the rest of my desk, folks, you'd be like, wow. But this area is just perfect. So it's over there, and I'm going to add that onto it. Okay, so then I die cut out these panels, and these panels are from here. So we have two dies here. We have this and this. If you just use this die, it'll die cut out like this. If you want a free panel, you need to add the two together. And John has a great tip that if you put down your border, add some washi tape or low tack tape to your panel, and then bring this over and get your nice even border, you have your washi tape on it ready to go. So that's what I did. So I took this, and with white cardstock I die cut this out 3 times, and that gave me my 3 panels. They're going to sit over the top like so. Lovely. Next I have die cut out 2 of these, and you can see here this is the die. I've cut them short. I just want enough to have my sentiment. So this will have where's my stamps? Here we go. I'll take the stamps here, and I'm going to put happy birthday on one and sent with love on the other. And then what I'll do is I shall take my lovely die cut out leaves that I have done here, and these are like this. They go over the top like so. I'm going to color these in. I'm going to ink blend on these ones, on these base pieces, and then I'm going to cluster them around each end of our 2 sentiments, and I'm going to put each sentiment then in between. So we'll have one set there and one set there like so. So that is the idea for our shaker card. Let's go ahead now and assemble it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is some ink blending on my little leaves, and I have my ink set up similar to what we did in our first card. So I'm just going to speed everything up now and show you how I do this. If you've watched my first card that I made, I show you my stamping and blending mat that I'm using there, and the little mat that I have made for holding my inks. And I also show you slowly how I go about the blending. But I think speeding it up like this, you still get the general gist. I'm using some Versafine Clair inks to do this blending, and my little mini ink blending brushes that I got from Amazon. And I'll leave links to those products that I can find online down below in the description, as well as a link to the Papercraft Society box 25. Generally, when a subscription comes out, if there's any leftover boxes, normally about a week or so after the kits have all been sent out, they'll go for sale on the Craft Stash website. So do keep an eye out there if you like this box. I'm going to skip forward now, and I'm going to show you how I did my panel for inside the card. I have my piece of white cardstock, and like I said, it measures 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. I've got my inks out, my blending brushes, and the stencil. So I like to use a stamping platform. I have my Misty here because I can put my cardstock and my stencil into it. I can then use the magnets to hold it down. Now you see here I have a piece of computer paper, and what I'm doing is I'm putting that under the stencil where I don't want to get any ink. So it's blanking off those other stencil openings. So now I've got my lovely border shape here with the leaves, and I can come along and I can do my inking onto this. So again, I'm going to stick with the colors that I used for the leaves that we just did. A nice shade of brown, a yellow, a green, and an orangey red. I'm using the Fallen Leaves color at the moment. The yellow one is called Cheerful, the green one is called Shady Lane, and the red one is called Tulip Red. I got my Versafine Clair inks from an Irish company, an online company called Killusty Crafts. You can get them from Craft Stash, and I'll leave links to both. I just found that Killusty Crafts sells them for €5.50, whereas Craft Stash is £6 something. So, and Killusty, they also ship them for €3. So if you're an Irish crafter and you're interested in getting products somewhere from Ireland at a really good shipping price, I really recommend Killusty Crafts. Lorraine there is really helpful. So if there's something on the website you want and you don't see it, you can send her an email, and she's generally very good at getting stuff. So that's where I go for mine if I'm not shopping from Craft Stash. Another good company is Cork Art Supplies as well, and there are loads, but they just happen to be the ones that I use, and so they're the ones I recommend. But if you're an Irish crafter and you know of places where you can buy products online that's great for card making, please do let me know down in the description. I'd be very interested to find out where you're purchasing from your, online Irish company. So right, I've got my blending done now. I just want to finish off and pull through some of the yellow. And I like the Versafine colours because I find, with the white layer on top, the colours really do come through nicely. I didn't go heavy at the blending. I'm not doing it heavy-handed, so they're a nice light colour. That's what I like about the Versafine Clair inks as well. You can get a real deep color with them, or you can go very lightly, very gently, and get a lighter tone. So I find these really good for doing first, second, and third generation inking. And I also love with Versafine, they're great. You can use with watercolors, you can use them for doing your heat embossing. And I like as well that they're fine, so when you're using a sentiment, you really do get a good clear inking with the Versafine inks, whether it's your Versafine Onyx black ink or the Versafine Clair inks. So there we go, we have our panel for the inside all blended, and I have to say I do love these colors. I think they come out great, and I'm going to clean off my stencil now and move on to the next part of our card. I have this stamp set that I got in a magazine. It was Simply Cards and Papercraft. This was issue 208 in August 2020. And I think what I'd like to use is the sentiments in this, because they're lovely. Shorter days and setting sun set the stage for autumn fun. So I want to put a happy birthday, so I'm going to use that in here. So we'll put that here, and I'll make sure that's nice and straight enough, and then we can stamp this. And again, I think I'll use the brown. That looks grand, but I think I'll just give it one more stamping. Perfect. And I'm going to add a happy birthday to this. So I'll use the happy birthday here. See how straight that looks? Yeah, that looks good. I might do this one in the green. So I'm really happy with how that's turning out, and it stamps lovely. I mean, the first time is perfect, but I just like that, you know, the denser color. So I've swiftly moved on now to stamping our sentiments for the front, and I'm just going to show you the happy birthday. And I find it's easier to die cut out first and then stamp your sentiment. So now to assemble my leaves, I take a little bit of glue and I put it on the back of my hand. Now, if you're intolerant of doing this, you can actually die cut this out using one of the double-sided sticky sheets, and that'll work. But for me, I just add a little bit of glue to the back of my hand, and it's a water-based glue, so it'll just wash off. Then I pop it over my little blended die cut and add it on, and I find that by doing it this way, I'm only adding a small amount to of the glue to the white piece, and I don't have glue oozing out everywhere. So that's how I've added that on there. So I'll just clean the glue off now. There we go. Next I have my card base, and it's folded. I've put my panel inside and I'm delighted with that. I've die cut out, or I've actually hand cut out a piece of the green cardstock that we got, because I thought it would pull all the colours together. So having the green as the background there with that will look lovely. And I'm using the white sequins, the white shaker bits. So I figured with the green there and the white shaker bits, it would really look well. So I'm going to speed everything up now and assemble the shaker part. And you can see there I have a green panel to go behind this instead of the cream one that I talked about in the beginning. Now when you're taking the release paper off your foam tape, and I have doubled up my foam tape here, be careful, because sometimes your sequins will hop when you're lifting off the release paper. So just be careful when you're doing that. And I'm just fiddling around. I try to make sure that my sequins are just in one layer, because sometimes they'll kind of bunch up and you'll find that 2 or 3 sequins are stuck one on top of the other, and that can kind of make them clump in your shaker. So I'll add my panel now to the back, and once that's done, then that's really lovely with the brown, the green and the white sequins. I really like that. And the white intricate panels then that'll go on the front really do lift the front of the card as well. Okay, so now I'm going to add my congratulations and my happy birthday. Now I have 2 layers of foam tape on this. I'm going to go with a 3rd layer because I'll put this in a box envelope. But you can, you know, just stick this down if you want. I like the idea of having it raised up. It adds a bit of dimension. So that's what I'm going to do. So I have my big roll of foam tape, and I got this in my local Mr. Price, which is an Irish, it's like a Poundland or Target here in Ireland. So I'll add some foam tape behind this, and I think, yeah, that should be good. Just go the whole way across, like so. Yeah, and I'll do the same with the happy birthday. But I'll just add a couple of pieces onto this. Now I can, before I add those on, I'm going to add my panels. Now again, you can die cut these out using a sticky sheet, a double-sided sticky sheet, or you can just add some liquid adhesive to this. I am going to just add some liquid adhesive to it, and I'm going to use the Collal because the Collal will stick it down perfectly and it'll give me a little bit of wiggle room. It'll leave no residue if it does leak out. And yeah, that works a treat. So just put a few drops here and there on the back. Perfect. And then we'll pop this on over. And I don't mind that some of the leaves won't be stuck down. It adds a little bit of dimension. There's a couple will be lifted there, but that's perfectly fine because this is going to go over the top of it there, and I have the other one going over here, so there's no fear of it coming off. Perfect. So I'll add my other two panels now and I'll speed this up. I think in hindsight, if I was going using these panels again on a card, I would definitely use the double-sided sticky back sheets that you can get and die cut out my panel, or even use double-sided tape on the back because you can still take off the release paper when you're done. Okay, so we have that now all done. Next we can add our congratulations, happy birthday. And then I'll add my leaves clustered around them. We could actually do one over to this side, one over there. Yeah, actually, I like that. So we'll put one over here. Might cut a little bit of that off. I'll cut another little bit of this off. The same with our congratulations. We don't need to have all that on it because I'll pop some leaves beside them. So we'll have congratulations. Happy birthday. Lovely. And then we can pop our little pieces on like so. And I've sped this part up because honestly I didn't want to go on. I was faffing and I was just in my happy place putting the leaves on. So I will add some foam tape behind some of them and use some of the white glue, my Cosmic Shimmer glue, then on top. I've used some Spectrum Noir sparkle pen as well on the leaves, and that'll add a little bit of shimmer to the leaves there on the front. So there we go. Now we have our lovely shaker card, and I have to say all the shaker bits in that is so cool. I really do love it. And then inside we have our happy birthday, shorter days and setting sun set the stage for autumn fun. But I just think that's a really nice card, and I think that could go for a masculine, you know, it could go as a masculine make. I don't see anything particularly girly about that. So, you know, you could give this to a male or female. So I'm going to leave that there. I hope you enjoyed my shaker card using the Papercraft Society box designed by John Lockwood, or John Next Door. If you liked my video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. And if not, you might click the bell icon. That way you'll be notified each time I post a new video. Do keep an eye on my channel because card 3 will be coming soon, and that again will be using the wonderful Papercraft Society products. So until next time folks, take care, stay safe, and see you in the next one. Bye.